Hey guys, it's that time again. It's the end of the year video. This year, for the most part, was not good. Let's just be real. However, despite the bad news, there was some good news. In this video, I will be going over all the highlights seen this year. We'll first start off with the good things. One of the biggest highlights of the year was when Al Chestbreach and I were selling my novels at CradleCon. Even though we had very little sales, we learned a lot from it and met some really great people. All in all, we had a very good time. Next, the Retro Gaming Expo this past summer. As I said in the video for it, it was one of the best years for the expo. I had a lot of fun there, and I am curious to see what next year has to offer. One of my biggest accomplishments this year was my IT certification. The tests were quite the challenge. I mean, seriously, CompTIA does not make anything easy. Of course, it's not expected to be easy, but I mean, this was really, really tricky. I mean, it is tricky as hell. But fortunately, I was able to pass both Core 1 and Core 2. Then we had the release of the Toby Accessibility Mod version 9.0, which was very well received by many and even had a little mention in the 2025 CAC Awards under the Gameplay WODs category. We didn't win, but at least it was an honorable mention. And last but not least, the release of the special edition of my first novel, Adventures of the PPA Invasion. The whole novel got a massive makeover. The story was polished up and looks and sounds so much better than the original version. And then we have the new and improved cover art done by Mr. Mark Graham, who did such an amazing job on it. Seriously, it was so beautifully done. Really, guys, go and check out his work. If you're looking for an artist to commission, this is the guy to work with. Thank you again, Mark, for doing such an awesome job. Really, this cover is freaking amazing, dude. It is epically awesome. And as a bonus, I made the most heavy metal Hanukkah menorah you'll ever see. Check this out. This was a craft project for a Christmas decoration competition my office was having between the departments. I was teamed up with the lab, and they were doing the theme The Nightmare Before Christmas. I decided to create a Gothic-style menorah to add a bit of the Hanukkah theme in there. As you can see, it's the Nightmare Before Hanukkah. 8 rockin' nights. That's right. As you can see, the heavy metal gesture I made out of the aluminum foil there. And also, behold the star of David Draymond. Overall, we all had a lot of fun with this. Seriously, it was really a whole lot of fun. I had a very good time. And that's pretty much most of the good highlights of the year. Now on to something that's more bittersweet. For those who have been watching my channel for a while, some of you probably know how much I love the Chevy Cobalt. It has been my car for 15 and a half years and has always been my noble steed through and through. Unfortunately, back in October, the transmission suffered a problem. It didn't suffer a catastrophic failure. However, if left untreated, then it would have. I brought it in to the dealership to have it looked at, and they said that the transmission needed to be rebuilt. They did also say that initially the transmission should be replaced. However, transmissions made for the Delta-based chassis are not made anymore. Even the parts for the transmission are no longer available. Therefore, the only option was to have the transmission rebuilt. In addition, even other components and parts for the Cobalt are no longer made, so trying to find those parts is extremely rare. So let me tell you, I was without my car for a month. Really, I waited about a month to get my car back. And when I did get the Cobalt back, even though the car was drivable, the people who did the work on the transmission did a pretty subpar, mediocre job. I mean, you could tell that it wasn't done right. You know, it was good enough that the car could be drivable, but I could tell something was a little off with it. So, whenever I put the car in reverse, there was a subtle but noticeable sound and feeling of mild grinding. And not long after the repair, after starting my car, there was a bit of a bump coming from either the engine or some other moving part. And unfortunately, this was the telltale sign that it was time for me to retire the Cobalt. And believe me, this is something I did not want to do, especially not for another few years. Believe me, this was a very heartbreaking decision to have to retire the Cobalt. I mean, I was very much distraught over this. So, as a result, I went ahead and got a new vehicle, and one that is close to the Cobalt in quality and capabilities, and also size too. For the sake of privacy, I won't disclose too much information about the new vehicle, but the only thing I can tell you is that it's also a Chevy. I do like the new vehicle, and I hope I can have it for just as long as the Cobalt, or more. I've always taken care of my cars, and that's why the silver Cobalt that I had lasted for 15 and a half years. As long as you take care of your car, it takes care of you. I will be doing a special video dedicated to my Cobalt, so stay tuned for when that comes out. Now, on to the not-so-good news. I'm going to start off with the least bad, and work our way down to nightmarishly bad. Buckle up, folks. This ride into hell is going to be bumpy. First, this year I was sick with COVID back around the end of August, beginning of September. My mother had caught it, and I wound up catching it from her. This was my very first time being sick with it. I have to say, well, it was not pleasant. Let's just be real. It was not pleasant at all. However, I found that using a nasal irrigation system like the Navage helped to mitigate the symptoms of the illness. And really, thank goodness for it, because it really gave me the upper hand over it, despite still feeling like crap with the damn thing, you know? But the Navage really did help. So, it's a good thing to know that in case if you do wind up sick with this thing, a nasal irrigation system can at least lighten the load of your suffering, you know? But anyway, I was able to get through it, but I have to say I've never experienced anything like this before. It was literally like a biological computer virus. I'd rather deal with the common cold instead of this thing. Also, my mother's overall health and well-being hasn't been the greatest. I won't go too much into detail because I don't want to get too personal. However, my mother is at an age where things can go wrong. Whether it be her mobility or her cognitive function, it's concerning. We'll just leave it at that. All I can say is that I hope she'll be alright this coming year, you know? Even though these two were the mildly bad things I had experienced this year, there were other bad moments that shook me to the core. I went over most of them in my Charlie Kirk video I did back in September, but one thing I'd like to add to the list of horrible things was the recent Hanukkah massacre in Sydney, Australia on Bondi Beach. This situation disgusted me to the core, and it was just horrible. I have an extended version of this video on my third channel, Fighting Spirit, if you're interested, but overall there were plenty of horrible things that had happened throughout the year, and it really is just disgusting. Seriously, that's the best way to put it. It's just really, really disgusting with some of the stuff that happened. So, how do we make the world a better place, you ask? I've said this in just about every end-of-the-year video. It all starts by being a good person with good morals, along with common sense, logic, and reason. If you want to improve the world around you, start by improving yourself first. All it takes is a good heart, soul, and mind to make a big and positive difference. Real generosity is done with intention. It comes from a genuine place of love. Good people don't flaunt their good deeds, they just do them for the sake of doing them, even when no one else is looking. Kindness pays off in the long term. I know people don't want to be seen as doormats, but fear not. You can still do a lot of good while protecting your heart and soul. Set boundaries and have enough integrity and dignity to walk away from those who are using and abusing you. You don't have to argue with those kinds of people. Just know that you have the freedom and the ability to walk away from them if you need to in order to keep your peace. So don't let bad people discourage you from doing good. Their selfishness and their wickedness will catch up to them in good time. Reality will put them in their place, one way or another. Even though it may seem like evil is winning at times, it's in fact digging its own grave. In the end, evil is guaranteed to lose no matter what. It can't escape its doomed fate.
You prayed and believed your whole life. Never done anything wrong. And here you are. You're the nicest person I know. I am the meanest. You have dementia. My life is perfect. Explain that to me.
Sometimes the devil allows people to live a life free of trouble because he doesn't want them turning to God. Their sin is like a jail cell, except it's all nice and comfy and there doesn't seem to be any need to leave. And the door's wide open till one day time runs out and the cell door slams shut and suddenly it's too late.
If you're wondering how I beat those who had wronged me, my strategy was simply refusing to sink to their level. Instead, I chose to rise above them. I want to give you my rules of thumb to help you get through anything life throws at you. First, have faith in yourself. Then, have faith in God. Then, learn to love yourself. Love God, love nature, love your loved ones, love those who are in your community, and love life itself. As Vengeant always says, love is the answer. Also, adopt the mindset of being optimistic and realistic. This means that you are grounded in reality, but are confident in your abilities to navigate through difficult situations. In other words, keeping your head up while weathering the storm. And one thing which I strongly encourage you to do is develop an iron will and never give up on hope. This will give you the armor necessary to get through all the insanity. And lastly, learn new skills and add them to your skill tool belt. Being well versed in a variety of skills will make you a valuable person in the workforce as well as during critical situations. Just like in the video games, like a first-person shooter. Your weapons in your inventory are essentially your tools in your toolkit, right? And they can be used for a variety of different situations. So consider those skills as your arsenal as well, if you want to look at it that way. And one final thing I'd like to say, and it's something I've said before in some other videos, count your blessings and not your complaints. Weather the storm and don't let the storm weather you. No matter what life throws at you, there's always a way to get through it all. And lastly, God helps those who help themselves. The universe rewards effort. What you put into life is what you get out of it. You do good, you get good. You do bad, you get bad. Every action has an equal or opposite reaction. It's pretty simple. And also you may want to just take responsibility for the choices you make, because that greatly affects what happens in your life. So really think things through before you say and do anything. And I hope that advice does help a lot of you, because it helped me get through all the craziness. So hopefully you'll have the same luck with it. And that about does it, ladies and gentlemen. That was the end of the year video 2025. Definitely a massive roller coaster ride. No doubt. It was quite the roller coaster ride this year. But hopefully there will be at least a tiny bit of improvement in 2026. Hoping? And on that note, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like. And if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. And as you know how my outros go, if you're watching this during the day, I wish all of you a good day. If you're watching this during the evening, I wish all of you a good evening. Have a happy and healthy New Year, everybody, and also stay safe. And I will see you in the new year. Take care.